What's up, everyone? This is Mike with the watch list video for Monday, June 10th. The SPY ended up closing about where it opened, and I'm going to put this horizontal line at Friday's volume. And if you look to the left, there aren't that many days that were lower than this. I mean, there's certainly a few, but it's definitely dead out there. It's summer trading. I kind of noticed when I was doing the watch list for Monday, right, that there aren't very many bounce plays, which would be stocks that are down several days in a row. There aren't very many recent breakouts on high relative volume. In other words, I kind of had to scrape to find stuff that meets the parameters, and really, I would argue I stretched it, putting stocks on there that feel like nobody's watching. I don't like that. I live and die by the stocks that have high relative volume, that are recent high flyers, and right now it's just pretty dead out there. So just understand, a lot of people on vacation. So each day I'm hoping to find one or two, right, that are meeting the parameters. I would point out, and when I show you the list, I'll point out Mobileye. That I would make an argument that we could do better, and that I kind of screwed up on Friday. Let me slide this over real quick before I do that. If you're new in the chat, please pause the video and read that. All right. So let's go into the watch list. Oh, real quick. SG, which had a nasty daily candle on Friday, but still I thought a great post by one of the members. MM512 is the members' chat room name. And let me go to maybe 5-minute candles, 2 days. All right. So the opening 5-minute candle topped at 35.50, as did Thursday's high, 35.50, right? So you had it touch Thursday's high, pull back, and MM512 in chat pointed out the possible 2-day high break, right? Which we call it a two-day high break when it meets the previous day's high or a recent high on the chart, right? And pulls back. So now at that point, it's the high for Friday. We're only 6 or 7 minutes in, but it's the high for Friday that was also the exact same high for Thursday, and a half number inflection point, 35.50. So I thought that was a great post. And so the implication was the break of 35.50 entry, and it went pretty quickly to 36.72. It definitely rolled over, but that's still a great trade. Getting long right there. Look at that. Thought that was a great post. And then REPL, which was on watch, I noticed that early on it topped out at 726. Thursday's high, 727. So you kind of had the same scenario, minus a penny, right? So my idea was back through 725, the quarter number, knowing that 726 and 727 were potential catalysts. It took a while to get going, but it never came close to stopping out, and went all the way to 804. I mean, it moved at like 10 cents an hour, which as a day trader, I don't love. I want them to move more quickly, but that was my best trade of the day. I did not have an exciting day on Friday. All right, so let's go to the watch list, things that we're watching. And again, remember, I had to fight to find stuff that I wanted to put on the list. So it's just dead out there. Understand that. Maybe cut your position size down. Maybe trade a little less. All right, so anyway, BNAI had this nice pop, and it's really kind of chopping sideways. You could argue this is sort of a flag pattern, but I don't like the way it closed near the lows on Friday. But I'm going to keep it on watch because of this move right here. This move was only, 6 sessions ago, and it was a massive move. And it hasn't rolled over, so that one makes the list. Mobileye MBLY, I said I was going to talk about intraday, what I did wrong. This had a nice pop, so it goes on the list. But let me show you 5-minute candles. And I noticed somewhere, I don't know where it was, maybe in the afternoon, I said, hey, Mobileye is strong today. So I put it on a chart, right? And then you could argue that it was from here to here is kind of a flag. And look what it did. It comes up and touches 31 right here. The earlier high, 31.30. Yeah, 31.33. So you had that red candle right there. So this is all day long. This is a setup back through 31, knowing that 33 cents above is another cat. It breaks 31 and goes to 32.18. without really ever looking over its shoulder. And I did not see that. So I guess the point of what I'm trying to say is when we do identify something as having a good day and we put it on a chart like we do, we got to do a better job. We mostly me, but really everybody, we got to do a better job of watching for a setup. And I do think this is a very good practice to identify stocks midway through the day that are having big days that weren't on the gap play list and weren't on the overnight watch list, right? And then adding them to a chart and collectively making sure we're watching for setups. Because to me, that's a big miss. I should have had that one back through 31. Anyway, having said all that, it definitely goes on a chart because it was one of the stronger stocks out there on Friday. JWEL. Interesting chart. I want to go out a year instead of 6 months. Got to get a better look at some of these. Topped out back here at 245 and then 246 on Friday. So certainly interesting over that level. Not a lot of volume in this thing though, but I noticed it, so I'm putting it on a chart. UNFI, nice 2-day run, quiet inside day, so that one makes the list. ODD, nice volume, one of the stronger stocks on Friday, maybe gives a follow-through day on Monday. WISA, let me zoom in so you can see this one a little better. Had that pop on Thursday, closed way off its highs, and then Friday put in an inside day and inched up a little bit. So there's an example of me reaching for a setup, but maybe it gives a setup on Monday. AEHR, another example of me having to really dive in, right? I'll zoom in. Had a really nice 2-day run here from like 1145 to 1360ish. That's a nice 2-day run. And then not an inside day, but a lower volume day that had a kind of a bottoming tail, right? So in other words, it found support and headed back up. And let me pan back out now. So again, it's kind of obscure, but this is a really nice 2-day run, and you could argue on Friday it held up pretty well. So you never know. We may catch a great setup on one of these, and they may do nothing. SMAR, big gap and pop on Thursday, inside day on Friday. We'll watch for a 3rd-day play. OLMA, really nice run here, then a few days lower, and then a nice reversal back to the upside on Friday. So that one goes on long watch. GPS, which is the Gap stores, gapped up on earnings, had tried to follow through the next day, but then ever since it's just been kind of quietly bleeding lower. I've had it on bounce watch for a couple days, no trades in it because no setups in it, but I'm just going to keep it on bounce watch for Monday. NVAX, really strong stock, and then now you got kind of two days lower back to maybe you could argue retest this breakout level. I'm going to put it on bounce watch. MLGO, huge move here, and then 1, 2, 3 days lower. It's still above the 20-day, so I am going to put that one on bounce watch. And then lastly, TDS, which had a really nice run. Now 3 days lower. Again, I'll put the horizontal line at this high here. You could argue this has now come down to retest it on lower volume. So that one I'm looking to turn back up on Monday. I am not in love with this list. I am not in love with the current market conditions, but if we work together like we usually do, we should find some nice trades on Monday. All right, that's it for me. I'll see you in chat.